The following movie has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. It is intended for mature audiences. Parents may wish to consider whether it should be viewed by children under 17. HBO will show this feature only at night.
Hey guys, welcome back to Mountaintop 9. Once again, I have another really cool top 5 video for you. We're going to do the top 5 horror of 1986. I've got some really good picks for you, so stick around and check them out. Coming in at number 5 is Deadly Friend. Now, the reason I put this one at number 5, I know a lot of people think this is a really cheesy Wes Craven film. You know, most people don't hold it up to the lofty heights of stuff like Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's face it, those 3 films are all-time horror classics. And Deadly Friend is more of a cheesy horror flick. You know, Wes Craven did a few movies like this in the 80s. He had Deadly Friend, and he did Summer of Fear, Invitation to Hell, Shocker, of course. You know, these were all lower tier Wes Craven films, but I've found that there is much enjoyment to be had in these types of movies. And Deadly Friend is really at the top of the heap of cheesy Wes Craven movies. You know, one you can pop in, not take too seriously, and just have a good time with. I love that robot, BB. BB is fucking hilarious. I love when that robot grabs that dude's balls and squeezes for dear life. That is hilarious shit right there. And the way he talks, the way he goes, BB, BB. So I never get enough of BB. BB is fucking great. You feel bad for the young teenagers and kind of the little romance they have going on and how the girl has the abusive father. Wes Craven even manages to sneak in some dream type shit in this movie, kind of ripping off his own Nightmare on Elm Street universe with some of the dream sequences in this one. And you know, when I was a kid, the ending to this movie really scared the shit out of me too. I thought it had kind of a creepy ending. And yeah, Deadly Friend is just good fun. And you've got to love the unrated cut. The way they have that exploding head via the basketball, when that basketball hits that fucking woman's head and it explodes, and then you see her headless body walking around the room with blood spurting up. That is great stuff, man. So yeah, Deadly Friend, good Wes Craven film, and I feel that it's good enough and noteworthy enough to me. I have to put it at number 5 on this list.
This garbage can. I'll crush it if you want.
Leave!
Okay, let go, man. Okay, let go.
There's some for chicken.
Now, coming in at number 4, I'm gonna put From Beyond. Let's face it, Stuart Gordon and Brian Yuzna, however the fuck you say his last name, but the bottom line is, these two dudes in the 80s, once they hit pay dirt with Reanimator, they hit the ground running and just had really a solid horror flick after solid horror flick, just great stuff. And From Beyond kept that winning streak, you know, going. It's got good special effects, really solid stuff. I also love the really lurid lighting, you know, all the pink and purple and everything. It just feels like a comic book come to life. So this movie's a real solid flick. I love From Beyond, and it has some pretty brutal violence in it later on in the movie, especially as the movie wears on. There are some sequences in here that are kind of shockingly violent. So I really love From Beyond. It's got a good premise, and that's why I've got to put it at number 4.
I did.
Now, coming in at number 3, I'm gonna put Psycho 3. I've never made a secret that Psycho 2 and Psycho 3 are a couple of my favorite horror films. I just love them. They came out at a time, you know, during the slasher boom of the 1980s, and that was just a perfect time for these Psycho sequels because they really laid on more violent set pieces, the classic Bates Motel setting, and you got Anthony Perkins reprising his role. And he's a very sympathetic character in these movies, despite the fact that he's batshit insane and you can't trust the guy at all because he'll probably slice your fucking throat open. He's still a sympathetic character. I mean, he offers to go out and get you a bag of burgers, and, you know, he just seems like a really nice guy to get along with. It's just a shame you never know with him. You never know when he's gonna flip his crazy switch and go on a fucking killing spree. But still, I love the character of Norman Bates in these movies, and Anthony Perkins is the guy to play this role. Let's face it, no one else can play this role like him. You've got Jeff Fahey in here as the real sleazy character. He's a fucking sleazeball to the max, and he comes in and just delivers a really good performance in this. And you've got some good gory killings in this movie. I really like the score to this one as well. Psycho 3 is a lot of fun, so I gotta put it as number 3 on this list. And by the way, I even love Psycho 4, alright? That one's fun too. I just really love these Psycho movies.
Hey, watch the guitar.
I'm sorry.
No harm done. Just gotta watch a guitar. That's my bread and butter. Going to LA to be a rock and roll star.
I'll bring you back a couple of burgers, okay?
All right.
But anyway, let's get on to my number 2 for 1986. And that one is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. First of all, that sequence on the bridge, alright? When those characters are driving there, and then you've got Leatherface and Nubbins up there on the back of the truck bed, just dancing in the fucking moonlight with that chainsaw held aloft. That is some scary, frightening shit. When you are about 4 years old, however the hell old I was when I first saw this movie, that left such an impression on my brain, and to this day, it's one of the most memorable horror sequences of all time. There's just nothing like it. It's like a fucking nightmare the way that sequence stretches on. It's so goddamn surreal because it's like, does this bridge ever end? And Tom Savini's bloody effects in this fucking movie, it's just top tier shit. You got sliced off heads, sliced off faces, all kinds of good gore in this movie. That sequence where Chop Top is just bashing that guy in the head over and over again with the hammer, so bloody. And then the suspense that leads up to that violent set piece, you know, just the tension that just keeps brewing and just keeps building. It's just a great roller coaster ride of a horror film. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it may not be the bruising, punishing, documentary-like horror that the original was. That has a whole different tone, okay? It's so grimy and everything. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is more like a carnival ride, a really twisted, morbid one, but it's like a fucking amusement park ride, and it's just so much fun. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, man, such a great movie, and that's why I've got to put it at number 2.
How odd.
All right, coming in at number 1, my friends, I've got to put Killer Party. And, you know, Killer Party, the reason I have to have it up here at number 1 is it just strikes a perfect balance of slasher film, but then you've also got the supernatural mixed in with it. And as you know, I love that combination when done right. You have these demonic things mixed in just the right measure. It can work wonders for a slasher movie. It can lift it up to a higher plane and make it all the more frightening. And Killer Party really takes you by surprise with that. I remember when I was a kid watching this movie on HBO, and then of course we taped it and I was able to watch it again and again. I remember watching it one night, late at night. I was the only one awake at my grandparents' house, and when this movie ended, I was just left with this really scared feeling. I had a hard time getting to sleep because I couldn't shake the ending. If this would have been a regular slasher movie, a run-of-the-mill type slasher flick, it wouldn't have left me with that feeling. What left me with that feeling was the added supernatural component. That's what I couldn't shake. That's the shit that really gets into my bones, gets into the dark recesses of my mind. I always loved that about this movie. It's got some really frightening sequences. It's a shame that so much of the more violent stuff was cut from the final print. You know, back in the day, I wish that the movie, that's the only thing. It would have been cool if it could have been a little bit more overtly violent. But despite that, I almost don't even think it matters, you know? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me that they don't show a lot of visceral violence in this one, because it actually kind of makes it even more suspenseful, because when you're getting into the final scenes of this movie, so many characters just start getting cut down one after another, and it kind of happens in such quick succession that it kind of leaves you with this really weird, like, what the fuck just hit me type of feeling. Because at one minute there's this big party with all of these people, and then next thing you know, a lot of them have left, and quite a few others have been killed off, and it happens so fast that it's like pulling the rug out from under your fucking feet, and the tone just turns so dark and so evil. So yeah, man, it's just got one of the greatest horror film endings of all time. I've got to put Killer Party at number 1.
No, please, don't put me in the ambulance. Please don't put me in there with her. No, please, get me out.
You know, for years after that pledge died, there were reports of all sorts of strange phenomena. He was into the occult, the evil side. There was even testimony at the inquiry that he stirred something up in this house.
Chances with the Noid. You can have pizza made to your order, or you can count on our famous 30-minute delivery.
If I could save this night and look into your eyes, no, I'd never let you go. I don't understand. Please show me if you can. Shine your light upon me now. If I could hold you, if I could love you, if I should need you.
Now guys, as far as other horror films from 1986, let's face it, there were some other really good classic movies that came out this year. You've got Demons 2, you've got Rawhead Rex, there's a movie called The Hitcher that I thought of putting high on this list of top 5 horror films. And you know why I didn't put The Hitcher on here, even though I think it's a great fucking movie? The reason I didn't put The Hitcher in my top 5 for this year is because the makers, everyone like involved with that movie, went to such great lengths to say this movie isn't a horror movie, it's a thriller. Well, if you keep doing that thriller talk, you know, I hated it back in the day when you'd read like Fangoria magazine and they'd be interviewing one of the makers of a horror movie, and you'd hear one of the people going, "This movie isn't a horror film. It's a thriller, or it's a psychological thriller." Well, you know what? That's fine to call your movie a thriller and everything. I don't have anything against that, but if someone wants to call your movie a horror film because it could also pass as a horror film, and it leaves you with horrifying feelings, and it kind of fits that role as well, there's nothing slanderous about calling a fucking movie a horror film. There's nothing wrong with calling a great film a horror film. A movie can still be a solid fucking masterpiece and be labeled a horror film, but so many people, especially back in those days, had this like grimy feeling like, oh, you can't call my movie a horror film. It's just such a pretentious attitude. So that's why I left The Hitcher off. Basically as a fucking statement. Okay, you don't want your movie called a horror film. You want to call it a thriller 50 billion fucking times, fine. I won't put it on the top 5 list, but I'll tell you what, I love The Hitcher. It's a really good movie, but that's why I didn't put it on the list. Maybe if I make a top 5 thrillers of 1986, I'll put The Hitcher on it. Because I'll tell you what, I do love thrillers. I love movies where you got a psycho, you know, stalking someone and making their life a living hell. And hell, even on, if you have the Tubi app and you get on there, there's so many like really cheesy Lifetime thrillers. I like that shit. That stuff is fun to watch sometimes. But anyway, I'm getting off on a long tangent. Another great movie that I really love from 1986. It's a really super cheesy cornball slasher. It's called Evil Laugh. That's a fun one. It came out this year. You've also got Friday the 13th Part 6. But anyway, guys, I don't want to rattle on and on. Oh, you also got Slaughter High. But, you know, we're in the 80s, man. And it's just like I've said with all these other years. You got to narrow it down to your top 5 and really, you know, make the hard decisions and say, okay, what are my must-haves from each year? For 1986, these are my must-haves. Now, I'm going to address an elephant in the room before I close out this video. Of course, New World Pictures released Mountaintop Motel Massacre in 1986. I know that. And just like I said in my 1983 video, I cannot put Mountaintop Motel in any of these top horror films of the 80s lists because I feel like it's not fair to the other movies. If I put Mountaintop Motel in the 1983 list, it would have been number 1. If I put it on the top list of 1986, it would have been number 1 again. So I can't do that. That movie is such a unique, special film to me that's held in a different status than all of these other movies because it's such a crucial movie to me, so important. It left scars on my brain. So Mountaintop Motel, I can't list it with any other movies. It just wouldn't be fair. It is a special movie that is held in a different place. So I always talk about Mountaintop Motel on its own, and that's why it's not on this list.
You've got to kill him. They know you're crazy. They're gonna send you back to the hospital. Everyone must die. They're gonna send you back to the hospital. Everyone must die.
Alright guys, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Down in the comments section, let me know what your top 5 are for this awesome year, 1986. What a great year for horror films. So I'd be real interested to see what your favorites are. And guess what, guys? I'll be seeing you again really, really soon. Don't squeeze my balls, BB. Hey, BB, keep your hands off my balls.
just married. Well, I'll see to it that you're not disturbed. Oh, and tell your little wife I'll have a surprise for her.